The opinions expressed within the content of this podcast solely that of our guests and do not reflect the views and beliefs of the Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters podcast, its hosts or its affiliates. Dave Weigert was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. His family has seen and experienced far more than most families with strange encounters and tragic moments. Dave, the youngest of 4 children and the only living sibling, went on to have many strange encounters throughout his childhood and adult life. At age 20 he began his journey to learn about the unknown. Dave has a background with Baltimore County Fire and Police, private security, bodyguard, bank security and security for a Baltimore sports team and other law enforcement agencies. Dave started the Maryland Paranormal Research Team in 2003 and closed the doors in 2016. He started Other Voices on the MPRT radio network along with a newsletter. From 2007 till 2016 he was the curator for the haunted Ramblewood Mansion. He hosted years of paranormal research and investigations at the location. Dave was also a mobile DJ for 35 years. Dave was a speaker at a number of colleges speaking about the paranormal to students. Dave founded the Maryland Bigfoot Research Team in 2018 and left it to a former member of MPRT. He now resides in Bucks County, Pennsylvania near his grandchildren. He has since founded the Mid-Atlantic Bigfoot Research Team. He currently hosts a podcast weekly called Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters Podcast. Let's welcome Dave to the podcast.
Welcome to Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters Podcast. And now your host, Dave Weigert.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters Podcast. Man, I'll tell you, it's been a crazy week. I had all kind of crazy stuff going on, but I'm up and running. Tonight, we have a wonderful guest, and I'm going to bring him on shortly, but before I do that, I want to take care of a couple things. And one of my favorite TV shows, Lamont Wilson. Let me throw that up there. Demond Wilson passed away today, and yeah, that was like one of my favorite shows. And then yesterday we had Catherine O'Hara, which was the mom in Home Alone, and that was another one of my favorite movies. So let me okay. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read something real quick. I hope this works the way things have been going. So let's see. Let me just throw this up here. I'm going to read something about the guest we're having tonight. All right. Danny says, I'm 60 years old, married, live in southern West Virginia. I have a 22-year-old son and a 26-year-old stepdaughter I call my own. Call mine, I'm sorry. Lived here all my life, was a volunteer firefighter in the 80s. Excuse me. 6 years. I've worked 46 years of retail. I've been into the paranormal activity for about 15 years. Ghost hunted for about 4 years. Been into Bigfoot for 21 and a half years. On the ghost side, I've seen and heard and witnessed a lot of activity. On the Bigfoot side, I saw my first Bigfoot on July 21st. That's 2024 at my camp. It was looking at me through my tent. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that with Danny in just a moment. He says, I've also experienced 2 others on thermal and possibly one other during the daytime. I've seen tree structures and things I can't explain. I've got 5 casts, seen many other odd and crazy things that I can't explain. Have met a lot of super people in the past few years, all parts of the country. Okay, let me get back to where I was at here. All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring our guests into the room.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Danny, how are you, sir?
Doing good, sir.
I'm doing pretty good.
Actually, I'm sitting here in southern West Virginia with 8
good.
inches of ice, freezing my noonie off.
Oh, man, don't talk about freezing. I'll tell you what. It's so cold here that at first I couldn't get my front door open to the cabin.
Uh-huh.
And then I had somebody work on it. Okay, it's fixed now. So after they left, it froze shut again.
Oh,
so then I got it open the second time. And guess what? Now I can't get it to shut all the way.
Because of the ice?
Yeah. Because of the ice. You're correct.
Yep. Right now, I'm looking at the thermometer on the computer, and it's 7 degrees. And I think tonight it's supposed to be below 0 with a wind chill factor probably about 10, maybe. And it snowed about 1 inch last night, and we've probably got about 6 inches of ice out in the front yard.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want any more snow.
Yeah, I like snow. Matter of fact, I love snow, except I don't like the cold. I mean, when it's 30, 32 degrees and it's snowing outside, hey, it's no problem. Once March comes, that's my birthday month. Hey, forget it all. Get it. Old man winter can have it all.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. So this is what we're going to do. I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, how you doing?
I was just tell us about yourself.
Well, I am, like you said in the intro there, I'm 60 years old. I live in southern West Virginia. I been married to a very pretty little redhead here in Raleigh County, about 4.5 years. I'm originally from Summersville, West Virginia, which is almost in the middle of the state. And I've got about 46 years of retail. I've worked for several different companies. I been into the paranormal for about 10, 12 years, maybe ish. And Bigfoot about 2.5. You said 21.5, but I know I might have misprinted that whenever I sent that to you, but about 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Okay.
And my wife and I take a Jeep. We got a Gladiator. We love going trail riding. Every once in a while, we'll take our dogs with us. We got 3 dogs and a cat. And I love building model cars, doing craft stuff. Bigfoot has been something that I never thought as a kid if somebody would have told me when I was 10 years old I would be hunting Bigfoot and doing ghost hunts, I'd have laughed at them, because I was scared to death as a kid of Bigfoot, ghosts, UFOs, anything scary. I was a typical kid. I hated it. And we went out in the woods and played, and my dad and I would go out in the woods hunting. I mean, it's just, just normal kid stuff. And then once I started watching a few paranormal shows a few years ago, like Ghost Hunters and I can't think of Ghost Adventures, and a lot of stuff on the Travel Channel and Discovery Channel. And then Expedition Unknown, we watched that, and every once in a while they'll have some stuff on there. I got interested in it and intrigued me. And we go on ghost tours here in town, and we'll go to cemeteries, or we'll go to some old houses. And I've got a few good friends that are ghost hunters. I'd also like to, before I get going too much farther, I'd like to give a good shout out to a very good friend of mine that has helped me, my mentor, Les Odell, in this. We go ghost hunting, we go Bigfooting, we go exploring. Another friend of mine, I haven't talked to her about this. There's my buddy Les. And I haven't talked to another friend of mine, Beth. She's the one that has also helped me, and I've seen a lot of tree structures, and she's shown me things at different areas in the southern part of the state that I've never seen before. I'd also like to shout out to my wife, Mary, because she's the one that lets me do this and puts up with me.
That's what I say all the time. My wonderful wife, she's put up with it for, let's see, we'll be married 40 years. 40 years.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. And along the way, yeah, she's put up with quite a bit. Many. When
we met in
I was just going to say many.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
You're skipping in and out. That's why you'll hear me talk over you. I'm sorry. I apologize. But you're skipping in and out.
Skipping in and out.
Your audio. I don't know if it's my end or it's your end.
Let's see. George is in the chat room. And Aaron, can you tell me if I'm in and out as far as the audio? I'm just waiting to type something in the chat room. So
hi, George. Nothing. Hi, Karen. That's the two names that I see on my end.
Okay. I'm not sure why I'm in and out. I should have put headphones on, but let's.
That's okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see where they're at. So, look what I found. Hey. All right, just give me a second here. I'm gonna try something, and
yeah, I've been having problems with my headset. I've got a loose wire, and I've got me a new set ordered.
That might be why. I hope this don't. Okay, can you hear? No.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're fine. Your audio, your video moving around.
Okay. Yeah, it might be. All right. So I'm thinking the audio's on your end.
Okay, it's very possible. Again, it's very possible.
Karen and George. Okay. Could you please type something in the room and let me know if you hear me going in and out? Okay. The next question I have for you, Danny, is what do you think a Bigfoot is?
I believe it's a lot of people say, is it flesh and blood? You've got that camp, and a lot of people say that it's an alien. A lot of people, you got so many different people that say what is what to me, which I believe that it's flesh and blood. Hey, there's my wife, Mary Buckner. Hey, Mary baby. And I believe that it is flesh and blood. It's once I see it come through a portal, then that's what I'll believe. This is the theory that I have. It's like a piece of cake. If you have a piece of chocolate cake in front of you and somebody says, "Hey, that's a bowl of pudding," and you say, "No, that's a piece of chocolate cake," and then, or if somebody says, "Hey, that's a piece of chocolate cake," what are you going to do? You're going to believe what it is. And to me, I believe it's flesh and blood because that's what I saw. It didn't pop out of a portal. It wasn't didn't magically appear or disappear. I mean, it's just, I believe it's just like a regular, I don't want to say creature. I don't want to say critter. It's a
right.
It's a being. It's almost, it's like humanoid. That's why I just call it humanoid, I guess.
So do you think it's associated with aliens and other cryptids, or?
I'm not for sure on the alien part because I've not seen that. I know other people have seen, you hear stories, oh, well, there was a craft landed in this field and a Bigfoot came out of it. I'll believe when I see that, if I ever see that. To me, I don't think so. I don't think it is. But like I said, if something would happen, I would be hiking or camping sometime and I'd see a craft and one come out of it, then I'll add that to the list. But to me right now, I don't think so.
Yeah, the reason I asked that question is because I do a lot of reading about sightings, encounters, and there's been many reports about usually when there's a Bigfoot sighting, there's a UFO sighting as well. Not all the time, but
like portals. A lot of people will say that something to do with portals. I believe it was Scott Carpenter had a big thing on portals also, because once he started putting a camera on his backpack, I watched a podcast one night and his son, I think it's Travis Carpenter, was talking about his dad, and he showed a picture of a portal that Scott had taken with his camera. And it was very, very interesting, very intriguing. I mean, it was just a picture of the forest, and here was a hole in it. So, there was no Bigfoot. There was no Sasquatch.
Right. What part of the research do you enjoy the most when you're out in the field?
Well, there's two parts of it. One is I love watching the podcasts like Small Town Monsters, the one Les has, Bill Rigby, my friend in Pennsylvania. I've got Roger, Squatch and Holler in Tennessee, and I got Sheila and Scott down in Georgia. I really love watching theirs. All these different podcasts that have different things about Sasquatch and Bigfoot, and everybody has their own opinions, and that's how I learn on that side. We'll go out in the field or go out and dig things up. We'll just be walking around and see something, whether it's a footprint, whether it's a tree structure, which who knows what the actual tree structures are for. Tree breaks. I've been in an area that we're studying right now, and it's a lake bed the lake is down for the winter pool. And we were just walking along, and he goes, "Hey, come here." And I got about 20 feet from me. He said, "Stop," and look down. I looked down, and there was footprints. And we found about 80 some footprints. One was about 13 inches, and another one was about 8 inches. It was almost like they were walking side by side. And what was odd, we had a rain like 4 or 5 days before, and these prints were like a couple days old, and they were about 1.5 inches deep. And our footprints in the same mud were barely a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch deep. And so it had to be something pretty big that did it. And then they were in a straight line, like everybody talks about and everybody shows in a lot of the videos and a lot of the pictures. But I like both aspects of it. The I guess you could say the book learning and in the field work. Because it's all fun.
I got two photos here. I got 2 photos here. I'm going to show the first one. Let's see.
Okay. That is a track that in that area where we were at, we kayaked about 1/2 mile upriver from where we had found the other ones 2 weeks prior. And Les happened to find these. And we were just walking along, and I lost count of about 100 probably footprints, and it was in a straight line. It looked like it had either come down from the wooded area down to the water, probably about 100 feet, 120 feet, and walked back up, or it could have come out of the water along the water. But it looked like it would come out of the woods, come down, and it went back up. And that was a pretty deep track too, and it was fresh too. It was within a couple days.
I'm going to show this one here.
Yeah, that was. I think that one was in the same area. Yes, that was the same area. And if you'll notice how deep that is, and you can see all the digits. And it was some pretty soft muck. It was mud. And like I said, this one is just like before. There was a couple of rainstorms prior to that. So they were not disturbed by the weather.
Interesting. Yeah.
Now,
So do you do...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to ask you if you do a lot of your research. Is it mostly in the daytime, or do you prefer going at night, or both?
A little bit of both. I've got a thermal and I've got a night vision binocular, and it's an infrared, and it's to me, you can see just as much stuff. You hear more at night because your ears are more open than your eyes. During the day, your eyes are your better senses because you're going to be looking around on the ground. You're going to be looking up in the tree line. You're going to be looking up in the trees. Just like the day we were on that lake bed, I was looking around the tree line and up in the trees more than I was on the ground. And Les was looking more on the ground. So we kind of had both areas because we had found some bear tracks that were pretty good sized bear tracks. And we kind of like covering our sixes on that. But at nighttime, it's interesting at night. You don't think you'd ever go into the woods in the middle of the night looking for something 8 foot tall, 1,000 pounds. But yeah, it's fun and it's interesting. And one thing I've found out, I haven't been scared at night. I've been nervous a couple times, but I've not been scared. A lot of people that would go into the woods scared, or I don't know, just feel uneasy to go into the woods. I haven't felt that way. I've not felt that way yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had this encounter? You'd be walking through the woods and you would hear, you could tell that something was following you. Okay. You'd hear the crunching, the footsteps. And when you stop, it would stop. And then when you would walk some more, it would start walking. Have you ever had that?
I have never had that. I have heard knocks. I have heard the knocks. I have heard something off in the distance yell, scream, but I've not had anything like it was following me or parallel on me. I have only been out in the woods myself, by myself, a couple times, but anytime that we've been out, um, Les and I started. We've got a group together. It's called West Virginia Case Bigfoot Collective, and the Case stands for Cryptids and Strange Encounters. And in the fall, we have a camp out, and in the spring, we have a camp out. We pick a particular little area here in the state of West Virginia that is kind of active, or where we've gotten reports, and we go do some research and hang out. We were this fall walking down a gas line road, which what a gas line road is a gas company will come in and put a well in a specific area, and the road that they use is they'll just take a dozer and cut up through the woods to the gas well so they have access. Well, we were walking down the road it was actually getting ready to leave, and we were probably about a mile maybe from our trucks, and all of a sudden he says, wait, and takes off down through the woods, and he got about 45 yards, maybe 40 yards down over in the woods, and he yelled at me on the radio, said, come here. And I got down there, and there was he said, look here, there were sticks stuck in the ground. They were about 3 or 4 foot tall, and I think there was about 4 of them. And I said, that doesn't look right. I said, that's been placed there. And he said, I saw something. He said, I saw a black shadow, like a shadow figure. And we kind of got into this little pattern, like a line, and was walking through the woods, see if we could see something, hear something, and then I just happened to turn around probably about 15 minutes later, and I was started to yell on the radio, and I saw a black shadow figure go between 2 trees. And what I saw was just a black mass, and the trees were probably about 5-6 foot apart, and they crossed in whatever it was, crossed in that area in just like a second. And I yelled on the radio, I said, where's everybody at? And up on the road, some of the guys were walking down the road, and you could see the color of their shirts, you could see their jeans. And I got with Les and we compared, what we saw, and it was similar. It was just like a black shadow. We never heard anything, and that's what we saw. We just started going through the woods, and we never saw anything after that.
Wow. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to play a couple commercials, and when we come back, I want to talk to you about your encounter that you had 2:30 in the morning in the tent.
Okay.
All right, so we'll be right back, folks.
Okay.
Always fascinated by the unexplainable? Strange Knocks magazine is the go-to. Flip it open, and boom, mind-blowing mysteries. Zero fluff. Packed with eerie tales and uncanny stories that mess with your head in the best way. Perfect for those nights when Netflix just doesn't cut it. Once got so lost in a story, forgot the pizza in the oven. Check out strangenocks.com and let mystery knock back.
Hi, my name's DJ Phil. I'm the owner-operator of Feeling Good Entertainment. We offer both karaoke and DJ services for a variety of events, all the way from birthday parties, small get-togethers, all the way up to complex, large weddings. From any venue, small or large, we have the ability to customize any set of equipment that we have and know the difference between the different types of equipment so that we can provide the quality and the volume needed for your event. Give us a call today for a no-obligation consultation, 443-277-1392. We look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.
Hey everybody, we're out here in the bush woods of the great northwestern Virginia area known as Canaan Valley, or this little area here called Little Canada, because it looks so marshy and looks like Canada. And notice right here, this rotten tree stump is native to this area, will not be found in any other place in the world because it's right here growing. It's dead now, but right here's where it came from. So be careful when you're walking around out in the woods and the marsh. Make sure you got all the boots, snake gaiters, and you got hats on and raincoats, because you don't want to get caught in the rain like we're about to get caught right now. Because if we don't hurry up and get back to camp, who knows what's going to happen. So bye from Aussie Boy. See you later.
I like that. I had to do that. Let me get Danny back in here.
That's one of my personalities. My Les, I love Les to death, and he told a friend of ours one day. He said, "My wife married me for my personality. She just don't know which one she's going to wake up with." And we were up in Canaan Valley. It's called the Canaan Loop this past spring, and there's an area there they do called Little Canada, and because it looks like a marsh. I mean, it's just a big marsh, and it looks like Canada. There's nothing there but some pine trees, and the moss is about 2 foot thick. And we were just walking along, and all of a sudden, I just popped that out, and I turned around, or I looked up, and I didn't realize Les was filming me, and it's on YouTube, and there's probably about 15. I don't know. Last time I checked, it was like 2,000 hits on it.
Wow. Just want to give a quick shout out to George Lunsford and Jimmy Trick, giving a shout out, and Tracy Lynn. Excuse me. I hope I don't start coughing, but I'm all right. Okay, so
that's another one thing I like to do. Whenever we're out, we like to have fun. And you got to enjoy yourself while you're doing this.
Definitely. So I'm going to take you back to, was it July 21st or July 24th?
July 21st of 24.
First of 24. Okay.
Yeah, it started I started July the 20th. This is the first time I was ever out. I was by myself. Hey, Les. Hi, buddy. And
hey, Les.
I was by myself, and I got to go to my friend's farm, and we walked around. She has not only a Sasquatch that lives and frequents her farm, but she also had orbs, ghost activity. They've seen UFOs. There's a little bit of everything goes on there. And that night, after going around the farm, driving around the farm, and checking things out, I decided about 11 o'clock I'd lay down. All I had was my tent and my cot. I had no equipment, no gear. All I had was my phone with a few paranormal apps on it. And I had been to the cemetery and gotten some stuff on my Ovilus and a few things. And I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and lay down for a little bit, and then I'll get up and during the night, and I'll walk around or go back down to the bottom of the hill where the farm is. And where I set my tent up was at the base of a power tower. where the power line cuts across the mountains. And here in West Virginia, you have a mountain here and it goes down into the valley and come back up the other side. Well, to get power in different parts of the area, they'll set a tower on this point, and run the lines through it. And they're high tension lines. And I had my tent set up. And about 2 o'clock-ish, about 2:30, I was laying there asleep. And my tent, it was July the 21st then, because it was after 12 o'clock. It was real foggy. It was rainy. I didn't even have a sleeping bag. I just had my raincoat on and I just laid down. And I just opened up my eyes. And I had all the windows open on all four sides. And I just happened to look up and I see something standing there looking at me. And it was kind of a reddish brown color. Had yellow eyes and a blackish looking face, no hair on its face. I think I even sent you a picture of something similar to what I saw. But I shook my head after about 4 seconds and blinked, and it was gone. And I thought, well, I'm dreaming. I must have been, I must be dreaming. And then I just went straight back to sleep. And that's the way I am. When I go to sleep, I go to sleep. And the next morning,
Wow.
I just walked around the back of the tent looking around. And like I said, this is the first time I'd ever been out. So I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know anything. I'm still green as grass. I'm like a sponge. I'll absorb as much as I possibly can. And the next weekend, I went back to pick up my camera that I had left in a tree behind my tent. The way my tent was set, there was a little hump that went down into the woods, and I didn't even know how to work a game camera. Didn't even have it turned on, matter of fact. And I had went back to pick it up, and Beth and I was there looking around, and when we first got there, there was two Y sticks, two little sticks shaped like a Y. They were about 2 foot long, and a lot of people, if at that time, which a lot of people I've heard on podcasts, if there is a Y stick laying or stuck in the ground where you do your research or where you've been, it means that you're welcome. And she looked at me and I looked at her and she said, you know what that means? I said, yeah, I think. And we talked about it for a little bit. And right about 15, 20 feet from my tent was this little grassy area. And the grass was about 4 foot tall. And she found a spot in that grass where the grass was matted down. It was about 3 foot by 4 foot, something like that. And like something had been standing there. You could tell something had been standing there. And my wife told me that I had been snoring and had probably come over to check and see what was wrong or make sure I was okay. And I do snore really loud. And that's what she and I had talked about, Beth and I had talked about, that it was probably standing there watching me, watching to see what was going on, knew that I was there. And then it heard me snoring and come over to check and see what was going on. And then it took off. And she had seen it multiple times. And like I said, he was about 7.5, 8 foot tall, because that's how tall my tent was. And it was about the same height as the tent. And it didn't scare me. I didn't smell anything. And then about a week or so later, I had called Les, and I always screw this part up. I'm sorry, Les. And was talking to him about it. And he said, I think you had an experience. And the more and more I got to thinking about it, because within the first few days, I was trying to run this through my head, trying to figure out what I saw, if I heard anything. And we got to talking about it back and forth, and that was my experience that night. Then in October of that year. That was the first group camp we were on. We had went to an area in the northern part of the state, and one of the guys that was with us that lives in that area, he said, let's go up here and check an area out. And it was right about dark, and we had thermals and infrared binoculars, and we had some equipment, and we went up what is a clear cut. What it is where a lumber company will go in and clear an area out, except for certain trees for lumber, for product. And we were on this point looking down into the end of the valley, and we never heard anything. And one of the guys said, hey, check this out. I see something moving about 100, 150 feet from us. Well, there was two lonely trees there by themselves, and they could see it. When I got the thermal, I couldn't see it because I couldn't tell where they were looking at because it was pitch dark and we didn't want to shine a light down in the bottom. And the only light we had was from the moon. And whatever this was about 8 foot tall, and you could see it not really standing. It was kind of like wobbling, waving back and forth. And I said, let me see if I can see it. And when I got it again, I was looking around. And I said, wait a minute. I said, something just moved out from behind this rock. And it was standing there doing the same thing. We watched both of these. I'm not going to say what it was, but they were both, the way we figured it out the next day. It was about 8 foot tall, about 4 foot wide at the shoulders. And it was bipedal, both of them. And they were just standing there. And we watched them for probably about an hour. And that's my second experience. After we got ready to leave there, we went on down the road about 10 miles. And as we were starting to pull into where we were going to stop, you could hear something down in the woods screaming, yelling, kind of a cross between an elephant and a lion. And we all just kind of looked at each other, and we had a couple parabolic mics, and this was probably about 100 feet to our left. And then all of a sudden you could hear it again about 100 feet to our right. And whatever these two were, they was about 150, 200 feet apart. And one of the guys that had a parabolic mic, he said, I hear something chatter real small. So it was almost like it was a female and a little one talking to another female, because right beside us was another guy that had a parabolic. He said he could hear small chatter. So it was almost like it was two females. They was either talking back and forth and had little ones with them or something. We don't fully know what it was, but that's what it sounded like.
Okay. Have you had any experiences with juveniles?
With what is it, sir?
Have you had any experiences with juveniles?
Juveniles. The only thing.
An experience that you think might have been.
The only thing juvenile related is the footprints that we found at the lake, and they were real small. They were, like I said, 8.5 inches long, and it looked like a kid or a woman's foot, barefoot, out in the mud, but it was real deep. And the way the weather was, don't think any kids would have been out, and it was just one set of footprints that was in the line with the big tracks.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you gone back to the area where you had the experience in a tent?
Yes, multiple times. I've went back once I figured out how to use a game camera. I've set it up. I've gotten deer. I set up before I learned how to use the camera. Like I said, this was all within like 3 or 4 months that of 24, right there at the end of summer. I had a Mickey Mouse hanging in a tree, and about 25, 20, about 20 feet from it, I hung a game camera. And I got a call about a week later from Beth, my friend, and she told me, she said, "You're not going to believe it," but she sent me a picture. She said, "I'm going to send you a picture. I want you to see this." And there was a Y stick stuck in the ground in front of my camera. And when I said, "Don't mess with the camera." I said, I'll check it out whenever I get down there. So a couple days later, I went down there, and it wasn't on. And the Mickey Mouse was still hanging in the tree, but right there where my camera was, the grass that was high was kind of pushed down, and that stick, it was probably about a 2.5-inch stick, and it was about 4 foot tall, maybe, stuck in the ground. But I don't, like I said, I don't know.
What's your theory on tree structures?
Tree structures, I have seen, and I have pictures. I probably sent you a few pictures of different things that I've seen. We have a state park here just in the southern part of the state, and some of the things that I've seen there, I've seen with rocks on them. I've seen tall stuff that have trees that are about 7-8 inches in diameter and about 15-20 feet long, that's up in the air, made like teepee style. I've seen breaks. I've seen breaks down on the ground. I've seen breaks up high. Les showed me something that I had never seen before. There is a tree structure in this one area we go to, and it's about 15 feet up in the air. There is a teepee shaped structure that's about 15 feet tall, and there is a tree completely horizontal and almost perfectly level, about 12 feet long, on top of it, suspended in this tree, and it's just there. And rock structures, I've seen different stackings of rocks that something, a human, it would take 2 or 3 people to pick up. But tree structures and tree breaks, until I actually see something do that, I'm going to believe it. But something out in the woods where people don't go does build tree structures. Or I've seen, like, even down low, like something like a little kid would lean tree limbs or trees up against another tree, or bend something into the shape of something. But I believe that they do that. I believe they do that. I'm not for sure why.
Now, I've heard a number of researchers say that they have found out that Bigfoot likes peanut butter.
Oh, that's what I've heard. I've tried the peanut butter thing. When I first got into this, and I had went to the farm and had my incident, I can't think of the gentleman's name, and he, on his podcast at the time, he talked about peanut butter. So I thought, well, I'll try it. And I had a jar of peanut butter hanging in a tree. I tie paracord and make things with paracord. So I always carry in my backpacks a couple 100 feet of paracord. And I tied it to the tree. And when I went back, it looked like a squirrel had gotten into it, little scratch marks. So I moved it to a different location, and I turned it upside down so that the water wouldn't get in it. and it was pretty tight. I had it lashed probably 3 different places, and a couple weeks later, I went back, and something stole my peanut butter jar. The lid was gone. The jar was completely gone, but the paracord was still in the tree. Now, it was up in the tree probably about 7 feet, 7.5 feet, and the cord was ripped. And if you've ever had any dealings with paracord is pretty strong. It's I called the company that I get my cord from, and he said, Dan, he said, that was cut. He said, that's not ripped. I said, how was it cut that far up without somebody using a ladder? And then he looked at the pictures again, and then he said, no, he said, something's wrong. He said, that was pulled apart. I don't know how, but it was pulled apart.
Mm-hmm. When you say paracord, are you referring to paracord is for a parachute, correct?
Yeah, parachute cord. The military or anybody that jumps, it's used for parachutes. I use it. I've got access to like 1,100 colors. I get it from a company out west, and I make bracelets. I make necklaces, dog collars, dog leashes. I wrap ends of walking sticks for handles. Wind chimes, different things. Jeep grab handles, even for side-by-sides. And it's for safety. You can use it if you're out in the woods, if you've got a walking stick and you've got 16, 20 feet on your walking stick, you say you break a leg or you get hurt, or if you're out there and you're lost, you can use it to string it between 2 trees, throw a tarp across it or a raincoat, and you got shelter. But I had some in my backpack, because I had forgot my duct tape to tape it around this tree. And you could see where something had been standing and reached up and grabbed it, and it was just like, went like that, just broke it off. And it had to be pretty strong, because I had it about 3 or 4 times in 3 different places, wrapped around it and tied off. And it was gone. And to this day, that was 2 years ago almost, and I haven't seen it since. So we never did find it.
I want to give a quick shout out to my cousin Donna and my cousin Karen that's in the room. If anybody in the room has any questions for Danny, please post your comment and put it in all caps for me.
Like I said, Dave, I am way new at this. I am learning so much, and I have met so many nice people. You had Ron Howes, Biker Bigfoot, on here. Les and I are doing a event with him this summer here in West Virginia. I've met people in Georgia, Tennessee, Idaho, different parts of the country. And everybody is super, super nice, and everybody shares, which I think this is a community that, and what I mean by community, the Bigfoot community, the people that do research, that do investigate, that are enthusiasts, help each other out. And that's one thing I like about it, is because, like I said, I'm green. I'm like a sponge, and I try to learn as much as I possibly can. And I've had the luck and the opportunity to meet people and listen to people and learn things. I got to meet Dr. Meldrin last summer and the summer before last. And I'm sorry for his passing. I got to meet this past year at the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival, Dr. Maria Mayer, Ronnie from Expedition Bigfoot, RPG, several other people. It's just been fun, and I enjoy talking about it, and listen to other people, what they have to say about it and what they do out in the woods, or what they do to learn more.
Well, a piece of advice I'll give you is yes, when you meet the right people, that's how it should be. You know, there came a time where I had to hang up my paranormal boots back in 2017. There was just a lot of how do I say it without uh, drama, fussing, fighting, and just people, you know, you see it every day on Facebook. So,
Yeah, it's
and
I used to go to car shows a lot, and I was in different organizations and helped set up events, and uh, I was even in Scouts, Boy Scouts, when I was younger, and when my son was in Scouts, and you see a little bit of that in no matter what you have. It's like a family. I mean, everybody has their ins and outs, and I like to, I guess you could say, gripe a little bit about something, but everybody loves each other, everybody cares for each other, everybody takes care of each other. Dave, I lost you.
okay, how about now?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, both of us have been breaking up here and there. Um, Talking Squatch says, Danny, let me know when you want to go to my hotspot, and I promise you will have a Sasquatch experience. You or any other researcher I have had an experience every time I set up camp in this spot.
Talking Squatch, I see your logo there. I have that patch. I have a patch like that. I got and put it on a shirt on my shoulder. I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, just look me up and give me a yell. We'll figure something out. I love going
Yeah, I
out
want to
and
try to.
new areas.
Uh-huh. I want to try to figure out how far apart you and I are. You see, you said you're.
Hold on a second. We're in southern West Virginia, and you're in Buck County.
Okay.
Hold on just one second.
Bucks County, PA. Yeah.
How's the snow up in Bucks County, PA?
Right now, you don't want to know. We were supposed to get hit with a second storm, but it blew off out to sea. So thank God for that.
We are 456 miles apart. It takes about 7 hours.
Wow. That's what it takes to get up to my family property up in Orma, West Virginia. They got 526 acres up there. And
I've heard of that. I've heard of that area.
Yeah. My nephew and several family members have had experiences over the course of the years. And
oh, Wimpy. Hey, Wimpy. I'm sorry, buddy.
See. So, something else I want to share with you. I don't know if you're familiar with George Lunsford. He has several good books out. He is in the chat room, and he's one of the founders of NCI, North Carolina Investigates, and they do everything. Bigfoot. They have a podcast that comes on Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube. So yeah, you might want to check that out.
Okay, I'll check that out. I ran into some guys, Roger Williams, that has Squatch and Holler out of Tennessee. I been watching his and Amanda's and Ashley's podcast since back in the fall. Probably I accidentally came upon it one day, and I just started watching it. And they have a chat group, and I found out the other day I'm in the chat group, and got to talking to some of them, and they have old line. I can't think of what it is now. Old line, and I can't think of what it is. I'm sorry. I apologize. But
okay.
I'm going to talk to them this coming week, and another way to learn is the way I consider it. Anytime if I'm talking to somebody, it's a way I can learn. People will ask me, "Are you sure it's what you saw?" Or they get intrigued when some of my coworkers have asked me. It's like, you do the Bigfoot stuff? I was like, yeah. It's like, what's it like? What have you seen? What have you heard? What's it like? They get kind of intrigued and interested in what you do and where you go, and they don't realize that is going on in this part of the country, because for the longest time everybody thought everything was out in the Northwest, in Washington or Oregon or Idaho or Northern California. And when Patty came out, the Patterson film, and it just kind of set an example, and then you started hearing a lot of things. People don't want to talk about it when they have an experience. To me, I think if you do talk about it, don't keep it bottled up. It's going to help you out, because a lot of people will not talk about it, and it just rests on their mind for a long period of time. I've heard stories, people have on their deathbed. Why? But I've heard stories also, as soon as something happens, people want to go talk about it, which is good. And that way you can understand, tell somebody what you saw, what you heard. And that way it helps anybody that's doing the research, figure something out and learn more.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, I've been doing, I'll be 63 this year, and I've been going at it since I was 19. Do I claim to know everything? No. It's a learning process, and you're going to learn more and more and more as you go on. And yeah, have I been? I've been beat up a few times. I'd have people say, how can you believe in that stuff? Well, in order to believe in that stuff, you got to have some kind of experience and encounter.
Experience and belief.
When I was growing up, when I was growing up as a kid, I'll tell you, my family had so many tragedies that were associated with paranormal. I mean, that's basically what got me started. I went on my first investigation when I was 19, but before that, I was picking up what material was available. I was watching what was on TV, and one of the shows I used to watch, and I want to get this announcement out there so everybody knows about it, was Sightings. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sightings is coming back next year.
What was the one with Leonard Nimoy? I remember watching that as a kid. Was it In Search of?
Help me out here, Michael Webb. In Search of. You're correct. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And
then there was.
Then you had Unsolved Mysteries.
Old Line Cryptids. That's it. It's a great bunch of guys. The podcast I'm going to be on next week, and some more friends of mine on Old Line Cryptids, and they just get in, and it's a group chat, and they just get in there and they just talk about different things. Some things are more Bigfoot than other things, but like we do ghost hunts. We love going into different places and experience different things. I've seen orbs. Right here in West Virginia, we have the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and it's in Weston. And my wife and I, a couple of years ago, and our daughter and her fiance, we went there for the tour. And when we got there, the lady told us, she said, I'll tell you what, she said, since it's just a couple of you, we'll do the paranormal and the history tour together. And we was like, okay. So it took a little bit longer, but we experienced some pretty interesting things. I got on a voice recorder. I asked it, I was in this room called the cemetery room. And what it is, it's a little room, about a 12 by 12, and it's devoted to the cemetery that's there on the property. And it talks about what happened to the people and where they were placed. It also had markers. Instead of tombstones, they had a little concrete marker with a number on it, I think it was. And I was standing there, and I just had my voice recorder out, and I said, is there anybody here who'd like to talk to me? And I played it back, and it said, no. And a little bit later on, whenever we was on the tour, I saw a shadow walk across the hall. And there was something else we heard when we was walking around. But it's, if anybody that's out there, you get a chance to go to this, or even Moundsville. I've had people go to Moundsville and had the same experience. It's very, very interesting, very intriguing.
Let me share one with you. I used to have access to the Eastern State Penitentiary for overnight paranormal investigations. And I actually had the honor of sitting in Al Capone's cell and doing some EVP work.
Oh.
Now, yeah. Now, I didn't get anything, but I had the pleasure of doing so. And let me tell you, it took months for them to, gain my trust, because he said, no, nobody's ever been in there. But yeah,
that would be cool.
I actually did. And, I've been all up and down the East Coast. I've been to Moundsville. I've been to, Eastern State Penitentiary, a lot of the asylums. And right now I just can't, think of a whole lot of them. But let me give a quick shout out to my sister-in-law. She's in there. Hi, Trudy.
Hi, Trudy. How you doing?
Let's see. Oh my God, I've had an experience, and don't go to places like that, but people don't believe you.
Yeah,
I believe you, Trudy.
Whenever I've even had family members ask me, it's like, are you sure that's what are you sure you believe in this? Whether it's, you see something on a ghost hunt, or you see something, when you're out squatching, and it's like, that's what I saw. Yeah. It's a lot of people don't believe or don't understand until you experience it. Like you said a little while ago, once you experience something, then you're going to believe it. And the next thing that I want to do, I've had people ask me, I want to see something during the day. And my wife even asked me one day.
I was just going to say, back in 1982, I had a partial Bigfoot sighting. What I saw on that day was through brush, trees. And I could tell that it was a Bigfoot because during the time that I spent on the farm, there was many things that happened. I was, the owner had shown me photos and talked about experiences he had before I came up to his farm to work. The only thing I seen was Bigfoot behind trees, with leaves, brush, and an arm come through, and I saw the arm and the hand, and that was it. I want to see it just the way you're looking at me and I'm looking at you.
Yeah,
that's how I want to see.
I would love to see during the day. My wife asked me, Mary and I was sitting watching TV one night, and I think we was watching one of the paranormal shows, or who might have been even watching an Expedition Bigfoot rerun or something. And she said, "What are you going to do if you walk face to face?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "What if you're just walking through the woods and all of a sudden you turn around and there is one standing right next to you?" And I said, "Well, one thing I probably won't know until that day comes, but I would like to say that I wouldn't run, because it would be like another wild animal. You don't want to run from it. I would like to say that I would like to try to, I don't know, maybe try to communicate. I don't know. Like I said, I told her, I don't know, and I won't know until that day comes. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
I don't know if I scream. I don't know if I crap my pants or what.
If I ever come that close to one, I will. You said it for me, but I was going to say first, I'll remain calm, but I'm definitely going to shit myself.
Well, Bill Rigby says he said his experience was at 15 feet. And if you think about
15 feet,
if you sit and look, 15 feet is, how far from where you're sitting. Mine was about 4 feet.
And you know how fast a Bigfoot can get to you in 4 feet or 15 feet.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about
mine in 1982, I was up on a deck, and I was having rocks thrown at me. So I walked over to the railing, and I'm holding on to the railing. I'm looking down, and I'm going to say it was about 30 feet from the deck in the tree lines where I saw the arm and the hand come out of the brush. Yeah. So.
Oh, by the way, I got a Sasquatch cozy my daughter gave me for my water.
There you go.
It's fuzzy. And if you're probably wondering, that is a pirate flag hanging behind me. I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett and Kenny Chesney fan. And when I'm down here working, whether it's on my equipment, charging it, or working on my paracord or my crafts, or painting or a model car or something, I have a stereo with CDs in it, and they are Jimmy Buffett. And my wife kind of gets tired of hearing the same songs over and over and over. It's a 5 CD player, and I just keep playing them over and over and over.
I know the last song. I got to think here for a second. I was playing it by Jimmy Buffett over and over and over, and my wife was like, "You got another song?" What was the last one he was? Something Bubbles.
Bubbles up.
Bubble Up. Yeah, that's
I think that's the last song he recorded in the album. He recorded that last album, and I was always wanted to go see him, and I hated it that he passed away. And hi, Kaylin. And Kenny Chesney, I love listening to him. Any kind of music I like, just about. I'm not a rap person. I'm not a pop music. Country music, 80s rock and roll, 60s rock and roll, 70s rock and roll. When I'm out washing the cars or the truck, and like I said, we got a Jeep, so it's usually got mud on it. Right now, it's got a lot of salt, but have stereo on. Listen, I was a DJ
for a lot of years, 30-some years, so I had to like it all, pretty much.
Oh well,
I mean, there was music that I refused to play.
My mom said I should have been a DJ.
So when it comes to So when it comes to Bigfoot research, that's what I enjoy the most, getting out there. And yes, I want to get a video, or I want to get a good photo.
Yeah.
But I mess around with a lot of audio, and I try to come up with. I have so many books, it's pathetic. It's like journals, and as far as experiments and stuff like that, things that I want to do in the future to try to communicate, with Bigfoot, and just
The
different
one thing
ideas that I want to work with.
you said something there that audio. I completely forgot. I've got I put audio recorders out in places, and I have a
Mhm.
place not too far from my house, probably about 15 miles. That a friend of mine, she had some howls and noises that she couldn't understand. They didn't know what they were, and they've even had tree knocks. So I put a recorder out there, and I've put recorders at the state park that I was talking about a little while ago. I don't want to mention, the names of it. And at the farm,
Right.
I've put recorders out, and you hear things that you can't explain. It's hard to explain something that you don't know what it is until you match it with something. They say two of the best things to use in your research is a notepad and a recorder, voice recorder, because you'll get a voice, you'll get a sound before you get the picture, and you can hide. The voice recorder I had hid at my friend's property here, about 15 miles from here. There was a log that was about 12 inches across, and it was probably about 80 feet long, maybe, and it was down at an angle from the ground up onto this bank. And it had a rotten spot, probably a couple feet long in it. And I thought, well, right here would be a good place to put it. And I put the recorder up underneath it and clipped the mic out so that you could barely see the mic, but you couldn't see the recorder. And I covered it up with moss. When I went back to get the recorder was laying out on the tree or out on the log, and this thing was about probably about 5 foot up off of the ground, almost face level for me because I'm 6 foot tall, and it was just laying there on the log. And something would have had to have reached up in where it was at and brought it out, pulled it out to look at it. The mic was hanging down off of I think it was hanging down off of the log, but it was laying there, and whatever it was, you could hear on the recording, grab it and struggle around with it and pull it out. But audio, is a very, very good thing. Very good thing. I love it. I've heard knocks. I've heard a friend of mine that she uses her voice recorder a lot. She had a bag of snacks, a Ziploc bag of snacks, and she and you could hear the ruffling of the bag, and you could hear the bag rip, because you know how you've got a bag of snacks and you pull it apart, how it sounds, and you could hear, and then you could hear a swallow, and then you hear and you hear the bag rustling. And this is the funniest part about the video, but you can hear it fart. While it's eating, all of a sudden you hear a sound. That's
louder than me.
That's the funniest part about that video. You hear it crunching and eating whatever it is. But something had to rip this bag open, and then you hear that right almost at the end of it while it's still eating it. What sounds like a fart noise?
That was me. I did.
That was you. Oh, that was you. Okay, I'll tell her that.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, in the Bigfoot world, from several friends, they call me the Ripper. So it's one of the names that I inherited. So
Oh,
if anybody in
I've
the
had several
chat
different
room,
names.
if anybody in the chat room has any questions for myself or Danny, please type in your question and make it all caps for us.
To go back to the ghost hunting, my wife and I had been bugging her about going to one of the cemeteries here in town. We have several, and there is an area that I can't remember, but I think there's a lot of slaves from the 1800s buried there, and there is a lot of activity. Like whenever we were first dating, we went out there on Halloween in 20, and I had my phone and I was just videoing around, and as we're moving through the little road, the little lane that goes through the cemetery, all of a sudden you can hear somebody talking, and then you hear me put the window up. The dog. And can you hear my dog barking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's upstairs. And but we went back there back in the fall, and I had my thermal on, I had my infrared, and I was like this, looking around, and I had my voice recorder, and we had went to a military grave. It had the white stone, and I laid my voice recorder down, and I noticed Mary was a little uneasy, and we was there probably about an hour, and she come up to me, she said, we need to leave now. I said, what's wrong? She said, I just heard somebody walking down the road. We were the only people there, and there's the lane that goes through the cemetery is gravel. She said, I could hear somebody walking in the gravel, and I just saw something move from stone to stone right down here. And she said, I feel like somebody's watching us. And we were in the area of the cemetery where there's no road. The highway's beside the cemetery, but it was on the other side of the cemetery. And I told her, I said, okay, we'll leave. And that's the first time that I have noticed her experiencing something like this. We got to talking to another friend of ours that's like a medium, and she might have some, little powers or the beginning thereof, but she could hear and sense and pick something up. And she said, we need to go now. I did not pick up any of this on any of the equipment, none of the walking. And we were not too far apart. We're just a couple feet apart when she heard this. And I did not pick it up on the audio. I did not pick it up on the thermal. I did not pick up anything on the infrared. It was weird. Have you ever ghost hunted? Can I ask you a question? Have you ever ghost hunted?
I apologize. I was coughing, so I had it on. I muted my mic. What was your question?
Do you ghost hunt, or do you just do the Bigfoot? Go in to do research Bigfoot.
Well, from 2000, I'm just waiting for it. Yeah, there we go. I'm just waiting for us to pop back up. We started spinning. Yeah, the answer to your question is from 2001 to 2017, I ran the Maryland Paranormal Research Team. So, like I said, I've been up and down the East Coast. I've been to many of places that people dream of, wanting to go. The hospitals to you name it. Yeah.
Prisons.
We would
private
like.
investigations.
There is a house in Louisiana my wife wants to go to. There is a place in eastern Kentucky, and I cannot think of it, Wayne. Well, I can't think of what it's called. It's been on multiple ghost shows. We want to go to that. We want to go to Moundsville and see that and experience what they have up
I've been
there.
there like 4 times.
And there's a place
Now,
in
the one
on the Outer Banks. I can't think of where it's at. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the place that your wife probably wants to go in Louisiana was it's probably the Myrtle Plantation.
Myrtles, yeah, that's it. The Myrtle Plantation, where the girl was hung in the tree, and they say they still see her. Yeah.
No, I haven't been there. But
any ghost show that comes on and they're at that place, she's like, "We're watching that." I'm like, "Cool."
Now, the one at the top of my list that I still hope to someday go there, I'd like to spend a weekend on the Queen Mary. That's where I would like to stay. Yeah.
What about the Titanic in Tennessee?
Well,
I'd like to do that. They say that's a very, very. There's a lot of paranormal activity that's on that.
Right.
Even though it's just a something like a museum or a place to visit. But they say there's a lot of activity on that.
Now, from 2007 to 2017, I was the host for Paranormal Investigations at the Ramblewood Mansion, which was part of the Underground Railroad. So, yeah, I put a lot of years in there.
There is a. You said you told me you're not too far from Gettysburg. There is a where I'm from, Summersville.
Right.
There is what's called Carnifax Ferry. It's a place there in Nicholas County that was a site of a pretty good battle during the Civil War, and the Union and Confederate both were camped there, and the Union Army was camped in Summersville during the Civil War. And at Carnifax, they have a cannon. They have a house that was there during the Civil War. It was a farm, and there's some activity there, and I would love to go there. With it being, my home area, I would love to go there.
So, you said we're like about 7 hours apart.
Yeah, about 7 hours.
I'm going to be doing a paranormal / cryptid festival event here in Bucks County. I haven't picked the definite month yet. It's probably going to be September. I'd like to have you come down if possible.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'll keep you updated. Let you know.
Let me know, because I've already got a few craft fairs lined up and craft things, and I got a couple paranormal things lined up with Les. And now that when I met Ron last summer, Ron Howe, like I said, Biker Bigfoot, he's wanting us to help him with a couple things, so we're going to be helping him. Yeah, just let me know. I'd be glad to come up.
Okay. Have you done any guest speaking?
Guest speaking one time, and it blew my mind, because some friends of mine, they have a ghost tour here in West Virginia, and they go around to different. And I'll be honest with you, I'm sorry, girls, I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. And they go around to different old houses or funeral homes or cemeteries. The town of Hinton this past year, which is just south of here, they had 5 buildings, and I helped them out there. And another little town here called Thurman, which was an old coal town. I helped them a little bit there. They asked me one day, they called me and they said, how'd you like to speak? She said, we don't have anybody. It was mainly a ghost tour. She said, would you like to talk about Bigfoot? I was like, I've never done that before, but yeah, I guess I could do that. I said, I'm just new. I'm new at this. I don't know how to talk about it. I don't know what to say, but I got there, and it was at the event in Hinton. And that afternoon, they had different speakers at different places in the town, and it was supposed to only be about 35, 40 minutes. It ended up being an hour and a half. People were asking questions, and we were talking, and I had some of my equipment, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, if this was the experience, the knowledge of Bigfoot, I'm like down here, way below. I'm in the negative, still learning, and I just enjoy it. It's a fun hobby. It's a really fun hobby. I enjoy it, and like I said before, I enjoy meeting the people that's involved in it.
I'll be 63, and I told you I started when I was about 19, when I became interested, and I'm still learning.
Oh,
it's a learning process. The learning is never going to stop.
When my wife and I met, I had just, what I had seen on TV, and we met in 20. And like I said, I've been doing this for about 2.5 years. I happened to find a Facebook page that was something about Bigfoot, and I don't remember what it was called. And I just posted on there. I said, is there anybody experienced anything in southern West Virginia? And immediately I got 11. I remember this. I don't know how I do this. I remember I got 11 hits immediately. And I started contacting, I was chatting with these people, and they'd say, well, watch this podcast, watch that podcast, watch this video. And what I started watching was Small Town Monsters. And that's how I met Les, was through Small Town Monsters, and in his podcast that he has, West Virginia Case, Cryptids and Strange Encounters. And then I met him, and we started going out, and he'll text me or call me. He said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go out. I said, we'll go out in the woods. And it's just been, like I said, it's been fun. And I just enjoy it. And I told her, I said, with the Jeep, I said, we're going on a trail ride, and we're going to see a Bigfoot. She said, nah. So far, we haven't seen one on a trail ride, but we've been into some areas where there has been activity and sightings. And yes, my head's on like a swivel whenever we go on trail rides, whether I, just to see something, whether it's an X, a rock pile that doesn't look right, something that doesn't look right, I'll stop, and she'll say, what are you doing? It's like, oh, nothing. And then just go on down the road, go out through the mountains. But so far, I haven't seen anything on a Jeep ride yet, but hopefully one day. All
right, Danny, we're going to take a quick break again, and then when we come back, we're going to talk for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap things up.
Okay,
so,
that's cool.
Folks, we'll be right back.
Always fascinated by the unexplainable? Strange Knocks magazine is the go-to. Flip it open, and boom, mind-blowing mysteries, zero fluff, packed with eerie tales and uncanny stories that mess with your head in the best way. Perfect for those nights when Netflix just doesn't cut it. Once got so lost in a story, forgot the pizza in the oven. Check out strangenocks.com and let mystery knock back.
Hi, my name's DJ Phil. I'm the owner-operator of Feeling Good Entertainment. We offer both karaoke and DJ services for a variety of events, all the way from birthday parties, small get-togethers, all the way up to complex large weddings. From any venue, small or large. We have the ability to customize any set of equipment that we have and know the difference between the different types of equipment so that we can provide the quality and the volume needed for your event. Give us a call today for a no obligation consultation, 443-277-1392. We look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.
Get out!
All right, and we're back. Let me go ahead and bring Danny back in. All right, we're back. Danny, if what advice would you give someone if they're new into paranormal slash cryptid?
Go in with an open mind. That's one thing that I try to do is myself is stay and keep an open mind. Don't go in to it and say, okay, yes, this is what this is. This is what this is. That was a Bigfoot sound. That was Bigfoot there. This is Bigfoot. That was a ghost. I see things, on podcasts, or I'll call Les, or I'll call another friend of mine and I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll realize it's not what I thought it was. Like an orb, I'll think, okay, this was an orb. And I'll show somebody the picture or the video and it's like, no, that's dirt. But keep an open mind is one thing. Learn everything you possibly can. Books, podcasts, videos, equipment. A lot of people think, you got to spend a lot of money on equipment. I'm not trying to, but there's two companies out there, Temu and Amazon. They have some really good prices on equipment. I'm not trying to promote them or say, hey, they're awesome places. But there's things that you can get and in different companies that you can use, like little voice recorders like this, get a voice recorder and just go sit out in the woods or go to a house or to a cemetery and just listen. Use your ears, use all your senses, use your eyes, smells. That's one thing I have not experienced yet. I have not experienced a smell. I have not experienced, a lot of people talk about mind speak. I have not experienced that, but I do when I go into the woods. I'll say to myself, it's like, come on, big guy. It's like, let's talk, let's chat. Let's show me something, show me anything. And I'll keep saying that over and over. Or I'll go into an area and we'll just sit down or, and just try to experience what, just listen. It's almost like going regular hunting when you're ghost hunting or if you're squatching. You go out in the woods, you sit down, the deer stand, and, you hope a deer comes by. You go out in the woods, sit down with a voice recorder or a parabolic mic or a thermal at night. And it's fun. It's fun. It's a way to have another hobby. It's another type of hobby. Like I said, I build model cars. I love going jeeping. I love going to car shows. I'm just a regular 60-year-old guy that likes to do stuff. and this is just another one of my hobbies. And has
There you
anybody
go.
really gotten
So,
to see him? A lot of people, there's several different, thanks, Trudy. Um, a lot of people believe that, how do I say, I'm not for sure how to say this. During caveman time, they think that they believe that it's partially something that has not evolved completely. When I don't know how, I can't remember how to state this properly. Uh, there's sightings throughout the world at one time when the continents were together, and as animals and creatures and beings, and went to the different areas, and the continent split. That's a tough question, really, to say where it come from. I mean, just that's just like saying, where did this fish come from? You know, uh, that's something I'm not for sure. I'll be honest with you. I'm not, but at one time, my wife and I believed that as humans evolved, where um, I'm sorry on the terminology, I can't think right now. The As we evolved through time, uh, this is another being that has evolved in a different way. Um, you've seen skeletons, and you've seen um, the different dinosaurs that, and the different animals and creatures as they were millions of years ago, or thousands of years ago, and then hundreds of years ago, and in today, how they have evolved. At one time, like the common house dog was as big as a lion, and now you got a Chihuahua. Um, how
ankle bite.
ankle bite? We've got one. We've got a Chiweenie, and,
Chewy.
and we have a lab mix and a border collie mix, and I love my babies. And we got Otis the cat. But that is a hard. That's a good question, and that's a hard question, because anybody you ask is going to tell you something completely different. And that's one thing that's also a way to learn. Everybody has different opinions, and you know what everybody says about opinions, but uh, everybody has their own opinion on how something or where something has come from, it is where it started, kind of like chicken and the egg. I hope that's a I hope that's an answer that is okay. It's not an answer, but I hope it's an answer that's okay.
Okay. So if anybody in the chat room has any final questions, please submit them now. Danny, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
I'm on Facebook. I don't have a website. My paracord business is called Bucky's Cords. They can just come through Facebook. That's probably the easiest and best way to get a hold of me. Um, I just, matter of fact, I really enjoy talking about Bigfoot and Sasquatch and cryptids, and I haven't got into Mothman. I haven't got into Dogman, which those are, and I haven't got into any of the others. Like here in West Virginia, we have the Braxton County Monster, Mothman, which is over in Point Pleasant. I have not gotten into those yet. Like I said, I'm at the very beginning of all this. I mean, I would enjoy getting into a lot of that and some of those sightings, and see some of that. But yeah, they can get a hold of me through Facebook. That'd probably be the best way to do it, and then message me, and that way I can chat with them.
Okay. Excellent. Awesome. Well, Danny, it's we're about almost at the end of the second hour. Yeah, get it out.
I can't. It's 2 hours.
But anyway,
we've been on here for 2 hours just talking. That's me, like this. That's the way I am. I love people and I love talking. I love seeing people smile and making people happy. When I'm set up at a craft show or an event, I'd rather see somebody smile, whether it's a kid, adult. And if I'm in a Jeep event, a lot of people talk about the rubber ducks with Jeeps. I'll set up at a Jeep event and I'll give away ducks. I love seeing little kids smile. That's where my ducks go. I have a Bigfoot sitting on the dash of my Jeep, my Gladiator. I don't have a duck. My ducks are sitting here on the shelf, and I give the other ones away to little kids. A little kid will walk up to me and give me a duck. I'll keep that one. But if I get a duck, I'll turn around and give it to a little kid, make that little kid happy.
And remember, come here, duck. That's how you call a duck. I'm gonna throw
this one at you real quick.
Okay.
We were out in the woods. I think it was back in the fall, and one of our group, she goes, "This is the best way to do this. This is how we need to get a hold of Bigfoot." Here, Bigfoot. Here, Bigfoot. Come here, Bigfoot. And we laughed and kidded about that all weekend. I think it was Tammy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Tammy. Tammy, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
All right, Danny, I want to thank you for being on tonight. I want to just line this up real quick. And thank you again. And I'd like to have you come back a second time. So we'll set something up.
Anytime you want to chat, I love talking. You can ask anybody that knows me. I'll talk about anything. Like this pen. Hey,
all right,
if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it.
There you go. I want to thank my listeners for tuning in tonight, and we'll be back again next Saturday. So we're going to get ahead and we're going to get out of here. And Danny, thanks again.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
I'm going to put you. You're welcome. I'm going to put you in the green room. Don't go away. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.